Hello, I'm Paula Ganly, the Australian Ambassador to Iraq. I'd like to thank Yazda, and in particular Haider Elias, for inviting me to participate in this event commemorating the 7th anniversary of the Yazidi Genocide. It's events like this that take time to recognise the genocide and the impact on individuals that assists in the healing process. However, there's a lot of other work to be done. And while we have seen some progress, we need to acknowledge that there's still a long way to go and significant work to be done in supporting Yazidis to recover and rebuild their lives. I recently visited Duhok and travelled to a displacement camp where I met some amazing Yazidi women and young adults. I was able to talk to them about their experiences in the camp and see firsthand some of the work being done. Some of the people I spoke to had secured employment, and with them there still seemed to be a sense of optimism. However, others were not as fortunate, and indeed some expressed to me their sense of hopelessness. They had fears about their children's future. They were concerned about unemployment, and they also acknowledged that their hope of being able to return to their homes anytime soon was fading. They had shown amazing resilience to get to where they are now, but they spoke of the help they need to build a better future away from the camps and the fact that this could only be done if they could return to their homes. To respond to these needs, the Australian Government has contributed approximately $200 million towards humanitarian and stabilisation programs in Iraq since 2014. Since last year's event, we've continued supporting programs that assist Yazidi communities, particularly the Building Peaceful Futures program, which has been supporting communities in Sinjar since 2018 and assisting the dignified return of displaced Yazidis to their homelands through a comprehensive set of services. We're pleased that the program has contributed to improving access to information and legal counselling to obtain critical civil documentation. The program has also assisted with providing pure drinking water to homes and also sanitation to schools. There's now access to healthcare through the rehabilitation of the Sinjar Primary Health Centre and the completion of a new maternity ward and mobile clinics supporting the response to the corona pandemic. Also, they've been assisting people living with disabilities in Sinjar. With Australian funding, the International Organisation for Migration's protection and mental health and pshyco-social support teams are providing case management to Yazidis in camp and out of camp settings in Duhok, as well as to Yazidi IDPs in Sinjar. IOM has also partnered with local NGOs, including Yazidi-led organisations, to deliver activities to the community to improve their mental health and well-being. I was honoured to see firsthand the support that is being provided. I saw opportunities being given for women to gather and talk about the issues within the camp and talk about possible solutions. They also discussed the children who, in some cases, were resenting their parents for bringing them into the camps, and they gave them some coping mechanisms there. Some of the women were doing craft work for themselves and with children, including crocheting some koalas and kangaroos. Australia also recognises the importance of justice for Yazidi survivors and their families, and we were very pleased to see the passage of the Yazidi Survivor Law in March this year. Through Australian funding, the IOM provided technical support to national decision makers and relevant parliament committees on transitional justice mechanisms. They ensured effective participation of survivors' organisations, civil society organisations, and experts in the discussions and deliberations on the draft law. They promoted exchanges to address shortcomings of the draft law relating to consultation, language, and scope of the initial bill in line with international standards. This law represents the first reparations program for conflict-related sexual violence in this part of the world and is another important step forward towards justice for Yazidi survivors. Our support to Yazidis in Iraq has been complemented by our resettlement program. Between 2015 and 2021, Over 5,700 Yazidis, predominantly located in Iraq and Turkey, were resettled through Australia's Offshore Humanitarian Program. Our program focused particularly on Yazidi women who had survived ISIL captivity and their immediate families. Last year, Australia also began progressing family reunification cases after approaches from Yazidis who had resettled in Australia. Recognising the complex needs of Yazidis, Australia provides significant settlement services on arrival, including English language training, pshyco-social support, financial support, healthcare, vocational training and education. Reports that we've been receiving are that the Yazidis are settling in well in a number of regional areas in Australia. All settlement locations have appropriate torture and trauma services available. We look forward to continuing our long-standing relationship with Yazda, including in supporting these resettlements. Thank you.